So you'll know when I've started the podcast. It hasn't started yet. I will give the
It's
intro.
not live, right? You can take things out if you
Yeah. No stress. Hello, and welcome to the In Progress podcast. This is episode 4. It is March.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna for today's discussion, we're gonna start with the bad and move towards the good, because this month was a lot all of a sudden.
Yeah, we didn't really get to experience much of the month of March.
Oh, no. It came out of nowhere. So, but before any of that, every people who are listening to this know me. I'm Gio. I almost said my full name. I'm Gio. Your mop. And I'm joined today by my friend Maddy Moore.
Hi, that's me.
Maddy, who are you to me? How do we know each other?
High school. High school. And Gio's been obsessed with me ever since, so.
Good, flatter me.
Yeah.
I was going to say. That's something you must do. No.
Yeah.
Maddy, you're my good friend that I've had since high school, and that has bared with me over the years and through my teenage years. I'm 20 years old now. That's something that happened in March. My birthday.
Right.
So, I'm an adult.
Wow.
Officially.
We're officially out of our teens. Isn't it a weird feeling? I've been forgetting to tell people that I'm 20 years old. It's bizarre. It's the first age that I've turned where I didn't see it coming.
It kind of happened, but also the world was on fire as it happened. So that's going to be our first topic.
Oh, exciting.
In retrospect, I'm realizing 2020 was a perfect year to start a podcast because there has been so much to talk about.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this might be like 4 hours long because there's so much to talk about. And if you really want to get through the worst first, I don't know if we'll be able to get to the good, but we'll try.
So for anyone that is listening in the future, and hopefully we aren't all dead, we won't be. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're at the end of March 2020, and this is the year that there was an outbreak of the coronavirus.
Yes, the first pandemic in like
100 years, about, I think.
Yeah, that's a century. Is that a century? A decade is 10. A century is 100.
Because I don't think the swine flu counted as a pandemic. This is like lockdown, stay at home.
Yeah, the swine flu and what was the other one? Ebola. Those were both epidemics, but not pandemics.
Yeah.
I done some research.
And on that note, coronavirus, and this is why I'm recording over a computer instead of in person, because I'm being responsible. Even though the virus doesn't technically, it's not supposed to affect us as much, but for the safety and well-being of everyone around us, we opted for this.
And I don't know if you know this, but me personally, I mean, Dave, my stepdad, another member of this household who I live with day in, day out, he's a pilot. And pilots, they have to keep working. So he's been in and out of airports. So our house is definitely not a place you want to be right now. Hence the video chat. Okay.
Good to know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a very rough month. I came into this year saying it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good year. Oh yeah, and fucking man, the first World War III. Then Australia's on fire. Australia's flooding. Coronavirus.
I honestly, with all this going on, I completely forgot about all the other stuff. Right? Can I say shit? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's
Oh, Geo!
You can do as you please. And this is the part of the episode that is weird because I'm like filling in background details before I talk just to you, and we have a conversation. But yeah, that's what's going on in the world. There was the coronavirus has become a pandemic, and we have been told to stay indoors. Most of the world is under quarantine, and school has been canceled. Well, kind of. We're doing online classes, which I personally don't enjoy. We can talk about that later.
So basically, I think the gist is we're supposed to be following this thing that I hear at least 12,000 times a day, social distancing.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
It's just meaning basically don't go near people. Like, just don't do it. And like whether there's people respecting that or not, I mean, the best we can do is respect it ourselves. Certain parts of the world are in bigger quarantine than others. Like I know in China, this is like for anybody listening that's, years ahead of time, or if this is a time capsule for you or something. But there's people in China that it's like you leave your apartment complex and you're only allowed to go to get food. But as soon as you leave, there's like people standing outside to take your temperature.
Oh, wow.
And you have to leave in like this suit. I don't know if it's a hazmat suit, but something similar. And when you come back, you have to get your temperature taken again. Then you have to be monitored for the next few days after you've left. It's very bizarre in different places in the world. Italy is completely shut down. If you're walking in the streets, you get a ticket. Like crazy, crazy stuff going on in the world. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk?
Yeah. And technically, it's supposed to be like that here. It's not as heavily enforced yet, but
I'm sure it's gonna happen.
They've already said that the police can ticket you up to $1,000, I believe.
Stop.
There's laws being put in place. Justin Trudeau's everywhere saying, "Don't stay inside, please."
Yeah, thank God we have Justin Trudeau instead of another man in power, our neighbor. But anyways.
And yeah, I think they chose the dumbest terminology ever. Like it's the best scientifically, I guess, but social distancing just sounds so stupid to me.
I know. And the amount of times it's one of those things where the more you say it, the stupider it sounds.
Yeah.
But I'm like, really? We couldn't think of anything better?
I know. It sounds like a white mom named Susan came up with it. I mean, we are going to observe social distancing.
Just get in the house. Did you practice your social distancing today? Get inside right now to your room.
Yeah. And we're under quarantine until essentially further notice. I don't think they've given it an official date yet.
Yeah, I mean, school, they gave the date May 1st, but then that means like we have all of April, which sucks. But honestly, by the time we get to May, I'm sure they're going to be saying like till the end of July.
Yeah, some people, I think I believe it was Australia, but other places are considering just like expecting for a year long. And that scares me because I am a person that likes to be outside and with other people. And school is, I find it rough. I honestly don't like not being in school.
Yeah, I mean, there's the idea that I miss being social, I miss seeing people, but there's also, it's worrisome, like when it comes to grades and like, hello, I want to graduate.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone's in the same boat with that, so I'm sure that we'll find some way to make it work. But yeah, if we're doing this for a year, I don't know how I'll handle it. It's been 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah. I already have plans to possibly be moving in with another person. And I'm not going to be contaminating anyone. I'm just going to be moving from one place to another for.
Oh, really?
Maybe. It's not completely planned out yet, but.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Like if we're going to dive into the bad, you're in this like quarantine, which at the beginning sounded great. I got to catch up on my sleep. I got to clean up my room, do things like organize this clutter, that we live day to day. But eventually it's like you're constantly inside and you're not really spending any time with anyone except for me. I'm always with my mom. It could get you down, like it's scary if this continues for all the summer. I already missed out on all kinds of like skiing stuff that I was super sad about. But if it goes on for much longer, it can be super saddening.
Yeah, and it's I've seen a lot of companies and other things taking an initiative to try and make it easier to just stay inside and stay at home. But a nice example is like Fender, the guitar company, offered free lessons for 3 months, and I actually got a code, and I'm going to be taking those lessons. A worse example is Pornhub made premium free, which I am not a part of.
What? Sure. No, of course you're not taking advantage. It's interesting how you knew about it though, but you don't.
No, it just came up.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure, Gio.
But a lot of places are trying to make, but it doesn't replace being outside and like talking with people. And there's only so much interaction you can have with your family, I think, until it drives you insane.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I don't eat dinner with my parents anymore because spending the whole day with them, by dinner time, like I will punch one of you, and that's not okay.
And on sleep, it's made my sleep worse. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't been sleeping really well at all. My schedule's been way off, and I can't fix it. I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm awake.
Yeah, and it's like you get up at, like, let's say you wake up at 10 a.m. You have nothing to wake up for. So then you just drift back off to sleep, and next thing you know, you're still in bed and it's 3 p.m. Like, that's happened before, easily. You know?
And it's not, I not envy, but I respect people that can get up and have personal projects in their own house. Like, especially for those lucky few, or many, I don't know, that have their own space to be able to do stuff. Like that they can get up and work on a project or be doing, like, I've done some things, but in the span of 2 weeks I could have done a lot more that I know I just haven't because I've been stuck in here in this 4-wall room. Like,
yeah, that's pretty much your space, right?
Yeah. For me, the thing that I did was reorganize my room. That was fun, but after that, been in here.
Yeah. And it starts to feel small, and the air, it's like breathing air over and over,
and on the days that you can't open the window, or like
yeah, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. I mean, I'm really fortunate. My house, we live on like a big property, and it's in the middle of maple syrup season, so I've been doing a lot of that. I've been doing a lot of biking and stuff. But if that gets shut down, I might just go completely stir crazy. Like, find me a straitjacket. I might lose it. I'm not kidding.
No.
Yeah. Rough.
And that's where you find stuff to do at home. Like I have other topics that we'll get to, but as far as getting, like, what have you been doing? You told me, I know you had already told me, but go ahead again.
I've made it my life's mission, like my goal, to make the perfect macaroon. It's not easy. Like, do not sit there and listen to this and be like, a fucking macaroon? Are you kidding? You just put it in the oven. No. There are, that's my dogs. Sorry.
It's okay.
You need the perfect amount of crust, and then the perfect amount of feet, which is like this chewy part, and then you need the ganache to be like at this right temperature. Oh my god, I've made a total of 110 macaroons this past week because it's addicting to make it like perfect. Anyways, so that's what's been keeping me busy. I've rediscovered the joy that you get from playing on a DS.
Yeah.
That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't been binging as much as I expected to. I've been trying not to get addicted to Netflix because I do that regularly, without the quarantine. I get addicted so easily to these shows. And I expect some applause right now. I've been able to control myself. So thank you.
For anyone that knows Maddy.
Thank
you. It's weird. I think it's kind of the same for most people. It's like the boredom effect, because you don't want to do what you would usually do at the end of a long day, because it hasn't been a long day. So it's like you're trying to find replacements for it. I've been playing piano or organizing my room, or just like, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you say really smart things and I'm impressed. That was one of them.
The boredom effect.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's how I feel. You put it in words, dude.
I'm a fucking genius.
You are though, man. In progress, where's that?
Stop.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's just the idea that you have to do something in order to be able to do the things that you would normally do anyways.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
and
So,
one of those things has been like online classes or doing assignments. And we only start as of tomorrow. We're going to be doing like online classes through Microsoft Teams that John added.
which
And
I will need you to explain that to me because I have to start that tomorrow and I'm very
that's
nervous.
no problem. I'll show you how to set it up right
Okay.
after.
But yeah, no, for me though, because I'm at Abbott with you, so I have one class that I'm going to be taking online, but my other ones are at this adult education center, and they have no plans set in place on how we're gonna, and like other CEGEPs like Vanier, they have no plan set in place. So I feel less concerned about Abbott, but as for my like physics and chemistry classes at Cartier, like I might be totally screwed, I don't know. Because if I don't know the material, I won't be accepted into the program that I need to get into next.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's considered. I don't know what the government's going to do as far as like Abbott's fortunate. We're continuing with things, but if there's certain things that a program misses out on or the courses can't do simply because, like, even the reason I have beef with the online classes is because I'm in theater, and so for the majority of the school, it's great. There's no problem. A science class, a math class, you can do it on a board at home, or like the teacher just has to
learn it from YouTube. Even like you don't even need the teacher.
You just need someone to show it to you.
Yeah.
But when it comes to acting, like we're fucked. Our productions got canceled because we can't do them. We can't put them on at all, and so the whole end of the year, our last, oh my god, quick math, 6 weeks of classes is dedicated to rehearsals and performance time, and we can't do that now because it's impossible, because we can't rehearse in close proximity, and we can't have an audience of more than 250 people. Now that is like no audience.
Yeah, that's lower now. It's like we can't have over 100.
Like even, but they've like officially canceled everything I've seen. Concerts, plays, any social gathering is canceled. So we're literally unable to do it, and so our curriculum has to change for the end of the year. And I'm lucky because I'm in my second year of CEGEP, so I still have 2 more productions to look forward to if everything goes according to plan. But we have a graduating class this was supposed to be their final production and their final evaluation, and they can't do it.
Oh, that's so sad. It's like the high school students, like they're missing prom, they're missing graduations, like things like that. Their grad trip, like you remember our grad trip to Europe?
Yeah, I remember.
Imagine that was canceled. That it's rough. But for you guys, theater, it's not something that can be postponed. Like, little footnote here, my girlfriend, she's a classical percussionist. And since I've known her, like the 3 years that I've known her, she's been talking about performing at this place called La Maison Symphonique. And she finally got her opportunity. She's been practicing it's been like at least 9 months that she's been preparing for it. And it got canceled. And like, it was her dream. It was like all she would talk about for the long, anyways, things like that. Rough.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know. It's on the first,
can't be postponed, it's.
Yeah. And because if we do, like, and we don't follow the same things as every other program. Every other program doesn't need to be postponed. But if we get postponed, then if it drags into next semester, it's impossible, because the graduating students have to graduate, or something has to be done so that they can. And like, I don't know, it's just rough.
I went to one of your classes, just one, and that you cannot do not one single thing that I witnessed you guys do in that class can you do online. And it was such a fun class. It's so, for those listening that aren't in theater or aware of theater like I wasn't, I'm totally out of the loop. You walk in and everyone's just got this giant smile, and it's really, the whole class is based on everyone cooperating, being together, and like all working towards the same goal. You can't do that online. You need each other's like bodies, each other's energies, each other's voices, like each other's attitudes and shit. You know, you like, if you're not together in a room, it wouldn't work. It really just, I don't know how you guys are going to do it. So sorry, my dude. Sucks to suck. Sorry.
No, and yeah, it's unfortunate for Polly too. But
Yeah.
that's also the world we live in. The world has to keep moving. That's why, like, and I don't, whatever. Oh, that's what my point was before. The government has to, or at least I don't know, the whole country has to figure out what the hell they're going to do after this is over. Because if it, all graduating students that are supposed to go into university or like graduate from high school, there has to be some sort of, I don't know, yeah,
It's like,
but not
understand.
everyone has to do a year, you know.
The only way I can see it working, like, I mean, there's so many things the government should be considering right now, not just academics. Like, there's so many things that we don't think of because they're not in our everyday life. Like, school is just the main thing for you and I, because that's where we're at. But the only way I can see it working is if, like, consider the people going into CEGEP from high school. All CEGEPs are just going to have to understand that all students, because the curriculum is so similar in high school, that all students are going to be missing like D and E of the ABCDE,
Yeah.
you know, and so they just have to accommodate. And I guess all the deans from university and all the program administrators from CEGEP, they're all just going to have to take into account that things are going to be missing, and those missing things, maybe they'll just have to work into. I don't know. That's the only way I can see it working. Tough times. But Gio, you asked me, I didn't ask you. What are you doing to keep busy?
I've I've said it. That
Really, that's it?
That's all I've been doing. I've reorganized my room. I baked a little bit. I played some piano. Like, but I've been trying to figure out in my own time. A lot of it has been spent to trying to just motivate myself to be able to do the assignments that I still have left. Like, I have, and now it's all going to be recorded and sent it to our teachers rather than performed in front of them. So, like, I have 2 monologues that I have to record and a ballet piece that I'm going to have to figure out how to do. I tried doing it outside the other day and it was too cold. And then for our next 6 weeks is going to be rereading the play that we would have performed and probably doing character analyses on it. So that's what my school future looks like. And yeah, for life at home, like I said, I don't know. I might not be living here the whole time.
Why, like, if you had to put into words, why is it so difficult though for you to stay motivated on doing those school things? Considering you miss school so much, you think it'd be something you look forward to do in a day?
Well, I've had trouble with it from even before the quarantine. Just I also have to find my own way of working properly in my space. I think one of the things that I've discussed with other people and they agreed is if you don't have a specified like area for working, like this is my room, this is my bedroom, this is where I sleep, but it's also where I spend a lot of my time at home. And if it's not dedicated to work, then it becomes difficult to make it a workplace. And that's what I found, because I can move stuff around and I spent a day. I did do it one time. I got a day in of just practicing and going over stuff. But I went over to my friend's house for the day and I got 10 times more work done just because it wasn't here.
Yeah.
And that's just the isolation effect for me, I guess. But and there's ways that you can figure it out, I'm sure. I can man up and just do it, and I know that's. But I find personally just trouble getting myself there.
Yeah, no, I've had the same kind of issue. Like, I had a hard time at the beginning, like figuring out how to sleep, because I wake up and then I just sit in my bed and I stay on my laptop.
Yeah.
But then your brain just kind of starts to associate your bed as this entertainment spot, not a place where you're supposed to shut down and go to sleep. So I made it like a goal, like, okay, my bed, I'm not doing any work on it. I'm not doing, oh my God, that's not, remind me to tell you what I've been trying to do for money while in quarantine. But no, I've been like reserving it simply to sleep. Keeping downstairs is like working on schoolwork. And if I want to practice the ukulele a little bit more, or I've been spending a lot of time on my Rubik's Cube, all of that, I've got this little sitting area right over there. So anything other than sleep is either downstairs or sitting there. So, and it's helped, because if you can't distinguish like which is which, then your brain's just going to get confused and you won't be able to, I don't know, properly allot the time where it's needed.
And that's what I've heard from other people as well. And this goes for anyone that might be having trouble sleeping or anything. I think what you're saying, Maddy, is right. From
Thanks.
everything that people, no, it's true. Everything that people have said, like getting off, it's not just getting off your phone an hour before bed. It's like making your bed the sleeping space rather than for anything else. Like, and I think something that I will do is get a chair or something in here, be like just clear things off of my bed, make sure that it's separate from my piano, from spaces that I can work in compared to sleep in, and that might help. I think I'm gonna do that tonight.
Ooh, maybe. No, this is too much effort. But how fun would it be if you like hung sheets all around your bed, so then you had to like enter a new space? We should both try that.
But the thing is, well, I pushed my bed up against my wall just because it was taking up too much space where it was before. But I also specifically wanted it up against the wall because it's like having your back up against it,
It's a comfort for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And if I think it happens with cats, like you can't put stuff around their sleeping area because they want to be able to see everything. So if you put sheets around my bedroom and someone comes in just even to say like dinner's ready, I'm going to smack them. Like whenever I've been using my computer and these headphones are noise canceling, my mom like walks into the room silently thinking that I've heard her. And she comes up and pokes me on the shoulder, and every single time it startles me.
You turn into the Karate Kid. Like,
yeah, I told her, like, if you do it again, I cannot be held accountable for what I do.
Well, my mom has been coming in the mornings and like giving me a smoothie like every morning. And every morning she comes in and she gives me the smoothie, and I look up, I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. And it's been happening for like at least a good 5 days. And only this morning did she figure out that I was sleep talking. I always woke up and just found a smoothie. And I was like, oh, that's so kind of her, But we were having full out conversation that had nothing to do with what you said, but I thought it was funny.
Your sleep talking has been a thing since high school.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Man, there was one time I was dreaming about something about a well, and my mom came in to make sure I was asleep. And I was grumbling, so she was like, Maddy, are you okay? And I sat upright and I go, the well is secure. And she was like, wait, what? Things like that, it doesn't stop.
You told me, I remember a story in high school where you sat up, I think it was one of the first times, and like your mom was genuinely scared. And I said, if I were in the house when you did that, I probably would have burned your bedroom to exorcise the demons out of you, because
every time I tell this story, I tell your reaction to it, because I think that your reaction when I told you was funnier than the story. But no, it's because I sat upright, like really. No, she walked in and I was already sitting upright. And she was like, Maddy. And I turned and I looked her dead in the eye. I don't remember any of this. I looked her straight in the face and I just screamed. Like I just yelled. And yeah, maybe it's just because she's my mom. Her instinct was to like run and like shake me and make sure I was okay. Anyone else probably been like, never mind. Good night.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm locking your room down. I'm getting a bomb ready just in case.
You're getting all the kids out of the house, ready to burn the whole thing down.
Burning essence everywhere, like incense. No,
say essence.
I'm not that religious, but I would have been praying.
Oh yeah, called the pastor. Is that what it is? A pastor that does the? I don't fucking know.
I'm not sure. There's priests, there's pastors, and there's the Pope. There might be others.
In the Vatican, which I recently learned about. Isn't that pathetic? I didn't know what the Vatican was. It's a city. It's a place.
Yeah.
Recently found out about it.
Yeah. Or isn't? Hold on. I also like this because I can research. Is it? No, yeah, it's Vatican City. Oh wow. Yeah, but isn't it also a place?
Well, a city is a place.
Thank you, Maddy. But I mean, like, what's the Pope's building? What the hell is the Pope's building called?
Well, that's my question, because you have the Vatican. So is that the building? Is that like the church? Is it called the Vatican? But then the city is also Vatican City? This is another one of those words when you say it so many times, Vatican, Vatican. It sounds funny now.
Stuff. It's great when you. I like that brain illusion when you when you repeat a word so many times that it loses its meaning.
Say the word toys like 700 times in the mirror, it won't be a word anymore. Mm-hmm. Like to this day, when I start saying toys, it sounds weird.
There you go. A fun quarantine activity.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's true.
Number one. I'm sure we'll find more throughout this.
Toys. No,
don't do it. It gets bad.
But it always comes back.
You know what's a good quarantine idea? I want to learn how to, I'm obsessed with it. I want to learn how to lucid dream properly.
Yes. Did I tell you that I lucid dreamed?
Shut up.
Yeah. It happened once.
I'm offended that your first reaction wasn't to call me right away. Because you know how obsessed I am.
My apologies.
Thank you.
But I did lucid dream once. I can't remember. I remember being in control of the dream. I remember it. I don't know what triggered it. I think I was trying to fly, and at some point I became conscious of the fact that I was trying to fly, and I knew that I was in a dream. And then the control, like something happened, and I remember waking up that morning and being like, "Wow, I actually had control of that dream." That was cool, and I haven't done it since. But
that's so cool. Well, for those listening, a cool story. I was in high school and I was obsessed with lucid dreaming. I had like a dream journal. I was doing reality checks all the time. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically just looking at your hand, making sure there's 5 fingers. If there are, it means it's real life. But if you see 6, it's like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And that's how you become lucid. So I was doing reality checks all the time in real life to train yourself that when you're dreaming, do a reality check. Then you can see like, oh wow, it's a dream. Anyways. At the time I was so obsessed with it, and Gio was such a supporter. He was like, you can do it, do a reality check right now. He would always look at me and be like, reality check. He'd be like, right. And then the one time I got close to lucid dreaming, we were walking the schools of high school and Gio's walking with me and we were talking about lucid dreaming, which wasn't bizarre because we did it all the time in real life. But then you looked at me dead in the eye and he's like, but Maddy, how did we get here? And I was like, wait. And he this big smile, and he's like, you're getting it. And then I woke up. I got too excited.
Oh yeah, my God. I remember you telling me this story. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we were babies. It was so long ago. How long have we known each other? 7, 8, 9, 10,
like known each other or known of each other?
Those Lerone pictures you sent me the other day were from grade 7. No.
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 It was not grade 8. I think we met in grade 8.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Exams, grade 8.
So that would have been 7 years ago?
That's weird. That is weird. You have a beard now.
Yeah, I know. Every single time I look at pictures of myself from before, like the 2 biggest things are I was big and I have a beard now.
Mm-hmm. You weren't big, you were squishier. That's it.
Okay, fine.
I like the word squishy.
I remember I went on a tangent. I went on like a rampage about this because I was watching a video. There's Emma's gonna get excited if Emma's listening.
Hey, Emma.
There is a artist, a musician called Fredo Disco that has a cover of a song called Saint that he had recorded in a shower with his friend who's drumming on his laps and stuff. And I saw the video of him now, and it's like, oh, where's that kid now? Because I searched up a recent video, and it's the same kid, but he got big. He got like fucking built. It's insane. He went from skinny boy to built, and I went, where the hell is my glow up? And
string bean to broccoli.
Yeah.
Hey. Whoa.
And it's not how I went. I went from like baked potato to a chip, you know? It's not fair. I still think that I look pretty much the same.
Really?
But I haven't. Well, okay.
We lost contact for about at least a full year, like at least. And when I saw you at Rockaberry, you don't really post that much on Instagram, you know what I mean? So when I saw you in person, the first time we hung out in like forever, I didn't recognize you. I almost like walked away because I was like, okay, where's Gio? Holy shit. Like really unrecognizable.
But that's I don't know. I guess it's because
from me.
That's not true. I guess it's just because I've seen the transition. I know that there was a sudden period of like weight loss and then beard growing. But I don't know.
You live through it, you don't see it as much.
Yeah. And that's anyways. I'm not at the final stage that I want to be in. This quarantine is not helping. But
this quarantine, you should take advantage. You should. I know gyms are closed, but I've been doing all kinds of online workouts and then destroying it by eating like 12,000 macaroons. But I'm still trying. I'm biking, things like that. You can really, turn this around and make it a fitness journey quarantine thing.
Yes. Yes.
No, you first, because I was going to change the subject.
As of tomorrow, I was gonna start. I just want, as soon as I'm able to bike, I'll go biking. Like, but it's been raining. It's raining today, and it's been cold and just
nasty.
So as soon as I will bike like half hour to somewhere and half hour back every day if I can, because that's
we can do a social distancing bike ride.
There you go, 6 feet apart on a bike.
Oh my god! If Emma's listening, I was really into horseback riding when we were in high school. And this one time, Gio, he was like, I want to come.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Gio was like, I really want to come with you. I'm like, of course, it's at this time. Just get to my house and my mom's going to drive us. And so what happened? Why? You miscalculated or you were running a little late. Gio not only took like 4 buses, but then he ran the last like 3 kilometers to my house. And like we pushed it to the last minute trying to wait for him. So we're like, we can't wait any longer. I'm going to be late. I'm going to be like really late. So we're driving down my street. And as we're about to leave my street, what do we see? Gio with his like purple hair flying around the corner in full jog out of breath. Yeah.
I think what happened is that I think, no, I might have woken up late. I'm not sure, but I was on my way, and the friggin' bus that is supposed to go all the way to your house was like, oh, we don't on the weekend, and I went, wow, cool, thanks for that, and then I had to run the rest of the way.
And you did. I was so shocked.
Even though the bus went that way anyways.
Yeah,
you have to go anyways. Point is, yeah, I did get there.
Transit. So that's Polly texting me.
And that's how I got. Yeah, and I was still big, but I made it.
But you can run, so you should be going on runs, on bikes. We should do a social distancing bike ride. We'll like meet halfway and then bike on opposite sides of the street.
Down Centerville, yeah. When it's summertime. And then we'll get stopped by the police together.
Ooh, no, I was on a bike ride yesterday and I waved at a cop and he waved back, big smile, no issue. Yeah, he just drove right by. I wasn't even wearing a helmet. I was really worried I was going to get pulled over for that.
I don't think that's a thing. I don't think they stop you for not wearing a helmet. I've talked about this with other people. I don't think it's actually a law.
Hmm. I think
Maybe
maybe they just told us that in elementary school to scare us.
I think it was just because they thought people would fall, but I've become so stubborn because I am a stubborn person. And when people say wear a helmet, I go, nope, because I'm not gonna fall. And then I don't fall. It's not that hard.
I did a really bad, I like flipped over a handlebars one time and I
I
wasn't wearing a helmet, but I was fine.
Yeah,
It was,
you learn.
you
You
live
grow up. Stop being a pussy, okay? You don't need a helmet. Just take the bruise, take the
grow
scrape.
a ball sack or two. Wait, wait. I don't know how male anatomy works. Grow a ball or two. There you go.
And
The only
fucking
time that the helmet might be useful is if you get hit by the car, but then really, how much is the helmet going to help you?
yeah, it's not gonna help that broken arm of yours.
It's really not. It's really
It
not.
saved you from a concussion, maybe, but no. Anyways, I disagree with helmets on bikes. If you're listening, you wear a helmet on a bike. Let me do
Oh,
the
right.
mistake.
Oh, God. People are listening.
Yeah, do
Oh,
as I say, not as I do.
yes.
Wear the helmet so
I
that
flipped over my bike thing, so I should have been wearing a helmet. So learn from my example. Wear your fucking helmet.
yeah. And listen, if I die, you can write it on my tombstone. He didn't wear a helmet. It'll be funny. But if you die,
Certified idiot.
yeah, if you die, it's my fault. So wear a helmet. Thank you. My PSA for today.
Wow, we're such good Samaritans. Oh, okay. So I wanted to ask you, what are you doing for money right now? A lot of
Okay,
people are struggling with money.
yeah. So for those of you that are listening, and that it's still March going into April,
Mm.
um, there are specific conditions and guidelines, but I highly recommend that you go out onto the internet and search for any sort of benefits or like handouts that the government is giving you because they are offering a lot. I've been told by not only classmates but my parents and my brother. Um, there has been an accepted amount, from what I understand, there's an accepted amount of money that is being given out for people that cannot work because of the quarantine.
Mm.
So that's just a PSA to everyone else. I personally am fine. I could apply, and I might still apply for uh, whatever. I think it was what the hell was it? There's you can search
Unemployment.
it. Yeah, like yes, it's unemployment. Yes.
Yep.
Um, that I could apply for, but I personally, in my current situation, I'm living at home. My parents are paying for my food. I'm totally fine. I could be making the amount of money that I would have been making in school
Mm-hmm.
uh, off of unemployment. Actually, a lot more than I would have been making. But I haven't accepted it based on my own. I'm not in need of it, so I don't want to take it. And I know the way that my parents explain it, it's like not only it's based on the amount of the way my parents explained it to me. My mom said, "Well, you can't work in school, so you're just making the amount of money that you would have been making in school." Um, and I don't know, just because I don't. If someone else needs it more than I do, that's my logic
Yeah.
behind it.
No, for sure. For me, it's like I work at McDonald's. It's still open because I mean the food industry is an essential service. I don't think McDonald's should be on that list, but these big corporations, they're taking advantage and they're calling themselves essential. But for me, it's like Dave's a pilot, like I mentioned earlier. So it's like it would just be super inconsiderate of me to go out into the public, then contaminate all of my coworkers, and then all of this food that I'm then serving out this drive-through window to all kinds of people. You know what I mean? So I text my manager. I'm like, hey, this is my situation. The government is saying that if you're a traveler or if you travel often or if you just came back, then you should be in quarantine. And I'm like, listen, I haven't traveled, but my dad, he's always in airports. And they're like, yeah, better if you just stay home, but I can't apply for unemployment. And I have things like all the students out there, you get the struggle. I'm paying for my phone, I'm paying for my car, I'm paying for insurance, I'm paying for, there's other things that I can't think of. Paying off credit card debt, student loans, things like that. And my savings are just diminishing, but I can't apply for unemployment. So I've been trying to go online. Did you have a question?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been trying to go online and like answer. So there's a whole bunch of different things. Learn from my mistake. Don't fucking do it. It's such a waste of time. I think I've made like $7 total, and I've done like everything. I've tried transcription services, which is where like you listen to audio and then write it. I've tried answering surveys. I even installed this application called user testing, where it's like companies send you their website and they ask you to find certain things to see how easy it is to maneuver this like website that they've designed and engineered. Literally stupidest thing. I invested so much time into it. I have gotten so desperate for money that I tried to sell pictures of my feet online to like creepy old men. It hasn't worked. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just either apply for unemployment or just, rely on your parents. Learn from my mistake. It wasn't worth it. You're not going to make money. It's not going to happen.
Oh, some guys got a picture of Maddy's feet.
Oh yeah, and they're so geo. They're like, "Hey, you're selling pictures of your feet." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and then they're like, "Ooh, okay, give me a sample, and I'll see if I like." And I'm like, "Okay." So then I just send the fucking picture, and they block me. So I haven't made any money. Yeah, classic dumb blonde right here. Yeah.
Okay. For anyone listening, do not resort to selling your body in any means. Please.
Listen,
please. Please.
I was like, hey, I have no qualms in showing my feet. I have cute feet. I painted my nails. I bought foot masks. I probably invested more into this than I gained back. So if you see it online, you see these girls telling you, oh yeah, I made $500 this week selling. No, she didn't. She's lying to you. She did not. I watched all the videos.
Okay. Wow. Okay. What I will recommend for everyone,
I just wanted to know.
I'm sorry.
It sounds like a good idea. It does. It sounds great. It isn't. It's you put so much time, so much effort,
Stop.
And then they scam you. And it's okay. I'm done. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do stay informed. Do check up on what you are allowed to. A lot of, like I had said at the beginning, a lot of places are offering you benefits. Taxes, like tax returns, have been pushed back, and all sorts of stuff is because the world understands, and they're trying their best to help. So make sure that you are taking advantage of what you are benefited, what you're allowed to benefit from. I would recommend to you, Maddy, you should check again to see for the unemployment, because I don't remember what the specifics were, but if I qualify for it, then I can't imagine why you wouldn't.
Yeah, I think it's more just because my place of work is still up and running, and I'm just choosing not to work. I don't know.
But then your reasoning has to be quarantined because you can't work. The place is open, but you can't work. That still qualifies. It's like if you got coronavirus and the place is open, then it's still the same in my view of.
Yeah. It's rough because my whole household is kind of struggling because my mom doesn't work, and Dave, the pilot, because airfare is kind of, the borders are closed, it's being shut down a little bit. I know a lot of families are struggling because mine in particular, Dave's getting a 40% pay cut. All pilots are losing like 40% of their pay, and they're having to work more, obviously internationally. But we're like now facing like, shit, we might have to sell our house because we won't make it 6 months without that 40%. And like, thank God, you're right. Like a lot of like taxes, they're pushing it. Hydro Quebec is saying like, hey, your bills are due this month, but we'll push it 2 months. They'll be due in like June or whatever. Cool things like that, but still it's gonna be really tight for so many families. We're gonna face a depression for sure, which is weird because it's not something you'd expect to see in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people have lived through their whole lifetime without seeing something like this. So as weird and like upsetting the whole situation is, it's also historically interesting to live through, which is kind of fucked up, but that's just my
No, I saw a post of someone saying like, it's been great, but I'm kind of getting bored and tired of living through a historical event, you know?
yeah. Yeah, and like we had the memes, we poked fun. It's like, oh shit, now I'm not having fun anymore.
I remember one of the first 2 days my mom came in. Well, my mom saw me and was like, "Hey, gas is at 95 cents. Go fill up." And I was like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's not, when you see the economy start to fluctuate. It's not a sign of good times
No.
ahead. But now it's at 80 cents. So
Well, I was gonna ask because I haven't driven in forever. It's down that low.
the last time I went out,
Whoa.
it was 80 cents.
And that's on the island of Montreal. Like imagine a little bit more north. They're also cutting off roads. Like I can't drive to my cottage because they don't want to infect these small, like more rural towns that don't have all the access to big hospitals like we do.
Mm-hmm. Or that you guess, cross contamination with like people from the city compared to.
Weird. Even though I'm not concerned about getting sick. I'm concerned about just passing it on to people that can then be hurt.
Yeah, that's
Like I
one of
love my grandma. Like
yeah.
like there's people that are like, I don't care, I'm not gonna be affected. Hey, I love my grandparents,
Yeah.
so just stay home, dude.
Yeah. That's something I slowly, like the first couple of days, I will admit, when it was the day just before school was closed, and I was in class and someone was talking about it, and one of the students in my class had to stay home, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
what's the problem? I don't understand.
Mhm.
He said it was his allergies. What's the issue? But as this has progressed, I realize, and I regret taking it so lightly. Like, someone posted someone I saw a photo. It's someone's daughter, and it says on top of it, "Only the vulnerable will be at risk. Your only is my everything," and it's
Yeah.
applicable not only to those who are more that have autoimmune deficiencies, but yeah, like my grandma. I
Mhm.
realized just a few days ago I want to go see her. I want to, like, just to make sure that she's doing fine, but I can't. I literally cannot. I can call her and but I can't.
Yeah, my grandma won't leave her house. We've been doing her groceries and then we leave them outside her house and she lets them sit there for a few hours and then she goes and gets them. Like she's she's really freaked out. And I have a lot of like step parents. So I have a lot of grandparents and step grandparents. So I have some grandparents that are in a home and they're like completely shut off. They're like locked in their room practically, because in places like that, it's dangerous. It's scary stuff. Anyways, all kinds of stuff going on.
My nonna was saying I had called her. She called me on my birthday actually, and she was she was saying your aunt. She was saying in Italian, but the way she said it was so funny. She went, "Your aunt keeps trying to get me to come over. I tell her, leave me alone. I'm staying here. Have you read the news? No."
I love how you're like, she was speaking in Italian, but then when you translated it to English, you still needed the Italian accent.
Yeah, that's code switching for you. Yes.
So, wait, you're fluent in Italian?
No, but I can speak it all right. Rough.
I didn't know that.
I understand it.
I thought you just had Italian blood and that was, and you liked pasta and that was your connection. That's it.
No.
No, I had no
But
idea.
it's not. Here's a fun little lesson that I learned from acting. As far as doing the Italian accent, that's not from me knowing Italian. That's from me picking it up from my grandparents speaking in Italian or in English and then translating it. I something that I've learned over the past 2 years in my acting program is that people naturally switch the way they talk depending on who they're talking to. So when I come onto this podcast, my voice changes it's very different compared to how I would normally talk to just you, Maddy. Like, because I'm keeping in, it's not even conscious. It's just, okay, we're in a podcast setting. I'm going to make my speech more clear so that people can understand me. And even as I'm talking now, it's going to switch a little bit because I'm pronouncing things more, you know? And yeah, when you see it when people tell stories about other people. Whenever I tell a story from my grandma's perspective, my aunts, I switch into an Italian accent because it switches just a little bit, and I've been nicknamed by Emma the king of code switching. So
okay,
it happens, and it's just a cool observation. If ever you pick up the phone, immediately ask yourself, okay, how am I speaking? Because you will notice it has changed, and it's very, very cool.
I picked up the phone for a living for like 3 years, right? I was a receptionist. I sounded like the most classic white mom. You can like just picture that voice in your head, like the soccer moms. Go Billy! That was me. Like you can hear it. It was a lot of accent injection, bonjour. Like that was different. But on this podcast, have you noticed I speak different? I think I'm the way I talk to you.
I think, yeah, for the most part, I think you're still talking the way that you would normally to me.
Because I keep forgetting there are people listening.
I don't know. But this is the way I've seen you switch when you're talking to other people. When you came into class, you become a lot more nervous. You get reserved.
Yeah, I do.
Your voice gets like that.
I make it very soft and like I'm a very dainty, Yeah, no, I'm not. That's what I turn into. I get nervous and I'm like, okay, I'm naturally like I'm a tall person, and so when I meet new people, I want to sound small to balance it out almost. Like I kind of have a deep-ish voice when I'm talking totally normally. That was silly, but no. But when I meet new people, I need it to be higher to kind of make me feel like I'm doing this balancing act between my physical appearance and then my auditory, response. I'm trying to sound smart.
But it's a natural thing that happens to everyone that people don't normally observe about themselves. So it's code switching. It's a cool. I now that I've been told that I do it, I recognize when I do it a lot more. Like if I'm talking to a guy, I think my voice gets a little bit deeper. If I'm talking if I'm talking with someone that's older than I am, I usually I go like you. I get a little bit more reserved, and I try to be more respectful if I'm talking to.
Yeah.
It switches, and it's not just your voice; it's your body language switches too, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a neighbor, and he's very like gangster in the hood. For some reason, whenever I talk to him, like I'm slurring my words, and I'm like, "Yo, like, what's good?" I'm like, "Who? Why am I saying that? Why? I never say that." But it's almost like this new dialect where you're like, "This is the language he's going to understand," even though you're speaking English still, and nothing else has changed. You're, from my house to his house, which is right across the street. It's almost like a different language. Interesting things you learn from theater kids.
People are interesting. So we've gone through the bad for a long, long time.
Yes.
Let's try to, and we've included some good. I think we've done well.
I think so.
But I don't know how long we've been going for. Almost an hour?
Really?
Maybe. I think we started around 4:00. But let's transition a little bit. Let's go some more positive things. We've already talked about what we've been doing in quarantine, but has anything? I'll start. I turned 20. That happened this month on the 16th of March. I turned 20 years old, and I guess it's just I'm okay. For anyone listening, I'm including the good as anything that isn't about the coronavirus right now, because I think it's a breath of fresh air to just hear a conversation about anything else. the idea popped into my head the other day. Now that I'm in my 20s, it's weird because, like, the normal expectation is that within the next 10 years, I will be married and have a
Oh, that's
kid.
weird. That's weird.
I don't like it.
That is weird.
I don't like that at all.
Oh my God, really? Like, think about when you say 10 years, it sounds like a long time, but you think about your 10-year-old self, and it's like, I was 10 years old, or even like think about 12 or 13 starting high school. That wasn't that long ago. It's not a long time. Oh, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, right?
Oh
And
God.
also, but as I was thinking about it, I had talked with someone else about it. I personally don't think I want to get married
At all?
for either at all or for a very, very long time.
Okay.
Just I don't know.
Is
Uh,
it marriage in general, or are you saying you don't want to move in with a significant other? You don't want to make those big steps,
oh
or
man.
specifically marriage?
Um, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think, from my personal observation in this life, I don't think people are supposed to be ready for any sort of relationship, proper, like, committed relationship, until they're, I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, then again, you see those high school sweethearts that end up spending the rest of their lives together. So I don't know. I don't know if like age or like mental maturity has anything to do with it. But I know for me personally, I don't think I am. I think I need a lot more time to be in the right mind space to be considering moving in with someone or marriage or talking about kids. Like,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa.
It's For me, it's a lot.
Mm,
I and this is public knowledge, and I'm not afraid of going into it. I I was in a relationship. My first relationship, I started at 18 years old. Before
mm,
that, I had never been in a relationship, and through it was a great relationship. Through
mm.
that experience, I learned that I'm not ready, because it's there's a million times more responsibility than you think of when you first get into it. Um, and I guess it is different depending on the person. Um, because I've seen people that get into relationships early when they're young, um, and it lasts for a while, and maybe for a long, long time. But I don't know. I guess some people make it more simple than I have made it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not here to psychoanalyze you or anything, but from what I've seen, you did a lot of personal growth. Like as soon as you graduated and you started this CJEP adventure and you figured out what you want to do with your life and like career path and like the people you want to surround yourself with, you did a lot of discovery there. And I think that you have a long way to go with it. And when you commit to somebody in a relationship and it goes on for longer and longer and longer, now a month turns into a year, um, and so you're starting to consider this other person's opinion and these other person's values and their feelings at an equal level as yourself. And when you don't really know yourself fully, how are you supposed to take
Mhm.
someone else into consideration at the same time? So we're 20 years old, right? Like we're supposed to be starting to figure these things out and know who we are so we can figure out what we want and where we want to be, and like these 5-year plans, and like who's going to be a big part of that with us. And like, holy shit, like how am I supposed to know the answer to any of that?
Yeah.
um, there are days where I wake up and I'm like, okay, like, am I being Maddy, or am I about to go put on a mask when I brush my teeth? I don't know.
Mhm.
So I hear you. It's tough.
Yeah. And there's no shame onto those that have been in a relationship for a very long time. My I always wonder, like, well, why? what what reason do you have? Like, what? I don't know. because
Well, I mean, you can ask me. I've been in a relationship for it's been 2 years and almost 4 months.
I it's not. I don't know. I'm thinking specifically of people that started in high school. Like
Mm.
I I don't know. It just, for me personally, it baffles me to think that you can know at that young of an age, like, yeah, no, this is the person that I'm okay spending most of my life with, and that, I don't know. It's just, for me, it's crazy.
And there's I mean, like, props to those people. I mean, you do have to appreciate their confidence. You know what I mean? Because you're in this relationship, and I know for me, I was dating somebody in high school, and it was really serious, and it continued out of high school, and then it failed miserably. But, I know that, like, a concern of mine at the time was like, "Okay, I'm losing out on a lot. Like, if this isn't a forever thing, then these are years that I'm not gonna get back."
Hmm.
So those people that are still with people that they were with in high school, that it's now coming to like almost 4 years of being together, like props to you for that confidence and like that zero hesitation and learning how to grow with someone
Yeah,
instead of just individually. Like that's takes some power, some stuff
yeah. And
where credit is due.
I've I remember talking with my acting teacher, and he one of the things he said in class was, he's seen he's seen siege up relationships happen, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. He said, most of the time it just doesn't last. And it, yeah, the I've s- I think I've seen people that were truly in love. I don't actually, you know what? I don't think that anybody that, unless it's purely based on sexual attraction or
Mm,
something of that sort, but I don't think anyone that gets into a relationship doesn't truly love that person at some point, at least
mm,
at the beginning, because I don't know. I'd like to have a, in that way, I'm optimistic. I like to think that something has to have attracted you to them. Something brought you there and made you say, "Yeah, I want to explore further with this." And if it doesn't work out, then that's,
mm.
but yeah.
People, they diminish the idea of puppy love so much. They're like, "Oh, it's just puppy love." Like, there's something so beautiful about puppy love because it's
Yeah.
just pure admiration and infatuation, and it's got some of the lust in there, and it's got some of it's got some of everything, and it's so strong, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Um, and like people are so quick to take away the worth of puppy love, but it's yeah, I don't know.
I think, and on the topic of getting getting married.
Oh, right, that's what we started with.
Well,
Okay.
well, yeah, the idea that like in the next 10 years it's expected, it's just, the norm is like getting married and having kids.
Mm,
Um, Personally for me, and this is going for future Geo, depending on, like,
mm,
maybe I'm wrong in 5 years, but at the
yeah.
moment, right now, what I think is I just can't. I can't, and I would not,
Mm,
because there's a ton of stuff that I still haven't done alone that I can't imagine doing with someone else, and I have my own grievances with marriage that I won't get into.
mm.
But the but like, I can't see myself getting married, but I know somewhere deep inside me I do want a child. I
Oh,
do
yeah.
specifically want a little girl
Oh,
at some
you're
point.
so cute. You're so
No,
cute.
but like, it's true, and I've imagined it, and I think it's also affected by having worked in a day camp, with little kids. There's so many cute little kids that, and there was one little girl that I remember was my favorite camper ever, and she's she's stuck with me forever. And it's that ideal that I have, that one day, yeah, I will be able to hold a little girl, and she'll have a name, and
Mm-hmm.
it, so it's weird that like I can't see myself in a relationship, but I think I know that I want to have a little girl.
You know, I think I've said this to you as long as I've known you, that you are the type of person that was meant to care for a kid. Like you're just perfect dad material, and you just look at and you're like dad, like
I've been that's the thing that's scaring me. There's a lot more people, or like, even in the way I dress, I don't try, but
mm-hmm.
people have been calling me. I've been wearing caps, and it's immediately like, oh, he looks like a dad today.
Looks like a dad. Where's your family? No, yeah. But you've got, I don't know if it has to do with the fact that you have such a big heart that you can't help but want for you to pass that on to a kid, or like your creativity and like your big imagination. Like you like knowing you, us, the listeners, myself, we just want you to transmit all that energy into a little being. Like how cute. Oh,
Yeah.
like come on.
Yeah. You, shut up, Maddy.
You'd be lying if you, I don't know, maybe not. But I want kids so bad. More than anything, like I want to be pregnant. I love that idea of being like a little oven. How I want to be an oven. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? But when I think about it, sharing it with someone for me is a huge part. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about, this idea of having this little girl that you've built up in your head that you're like, oh, it sounds incredible. It's something that I want in my life. You can't tell me that you don't look to the side and see someone else there with you that like understands fully the amount of love that you have for this being. It's a little ball of joy, they call it.
At the moment, I don't, not that it has to, that's the way it is, unless, but adoption is an option. But
yeah.
At the moment, I can't, I can't see it yet, just because I don't, I like, I know there should be, but in my current day, Geo, I haven't experienced that. I think I saw glimpses of it in my first relationship, but that, I don't know, it ended up scaring me more than comforting me. So,
which is so interesting because, like you said earlier, 5 years from now, Geo might be listening to this and he'll be like so deeply in love with someone. Isn't that so interesting? To look back and then be like, ha, you loser, you had no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay, and then 20 years from now, Geo that's divorced, and oh my god, not.
Oh my god, why would you go there?
I'm cursing myself here.
Podcast. Oh, you psycho.
If I'm listening to my own stuff in 20 years, maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a horrible, sad thing.
Well, maybe this pandemic will destroy us in a matter of months anyway, so who knows?
I will say, I also do think, though, that the modern day idea of having a kid is selfish, I think.
Absolutely.
Because I've heard, I heard it just a few weeks ago, and I've heard it over and over again. When someone describes having a kid, they describe wanting a baby. They're like, oh, I just want a cute little kid. We want to have a kid. I want a little kid. But the thing that I think a lot of people don't remember is that kid is going to grow into an adult. Mm-hmm. You're not having a baby, you're having a human being. That's what I think has been lost in.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing like when I do the spay neuter thing for all kinds of dogs, and people look to me and they're like, I want a puppy. It's that same idea when they talk about baby. They want an infant. They want a cute little toddler that doesn't have any teeth, that makes cute noises.
Yeah.
They don't want this lifelong commitment of like a whole other living entity that you're responsible for forever, through the really ugly preteen years, through like the really like gross 16-year-old, you know, all the way to the 25-year-old that might come to you and be like, I have no money, I need to move back into your basement. That's 25 years. That's a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
But you're totally right. But also, I know for me, I'm really selfish because, you know, I like boys and I like girls.
That's not. Yes, continue
Well,
your point.
but I like boys and I like girls. And if I end up with a boy one day, I know that I want to have a kid the traditional way. And if I end up with a girl, I also want a kid with my DNA, which is so selfish because there are so many little babies out there that need homes, and I feel like an asshole because if I end up with a girl, I want to go through this process where I get a donor to impregnate my partner's embryo and then have it inserted into me. Like, it's so much science that is so unnecessary when there's a little kiddo that really needs my help. So I struggle a lot with it because I have no qualms against adoption whatsoever. I don't know. I think it's like it's a selfish act to be making more babies when A, we're so overpopulated, and B, there's so many kids that need help. Yeah, I don't know. So many things to consider.
Yeah.
I do
And
think
point.
this whole corona thing is trying to wipe out a big chunk of the population because they just can't handle it. Mother Earth is struggling.
Yeah, I've heard, and that's an opinion that people, well, that I've heard from others, that it is sort of like, yeah, Mother Nature is doing the job that we needed, and that I will say that I understand that can come across as cruel, and if any of you listening have been affected by the coronavirus, I apologize. I'm sorry. Um, I I just want to express it as a separate opinion from my own. Um, the idea that Mother Nature is doing a job that is, I've heard from multiple, not only scientists, but I remember in elementary school specifically, there was a zoologist that worked with primates that stated, the best thing for the planet is to wipe out half of it, to wipe out half the population. And it's cruel and it's crazy to think that, like, all of the stuff that has been coming up in environmental issues and even just problems between each other, we haven't figured out how to fucking deal with each other as human beings.
World peace, world hunger, world, like, all of these global issues that we're facing.
It's horrible to think that it, but it's true that it takes something like this to make you realize, no, yeah, we are all human. There is, and environmental, people have been saying, and it's scientifically true, this has been beneficial for the environment. There's places that are clearing up in, like, the, what was it, the rivers in Venice or in somewhere that are running clean, and there's fish.
There's fish in it for the first time in like decades.
I can see the stars at night, and like there's pollution clouds that aren't there anymore because people aren't polluting.
Well, in China, it's the first time, like, in like at least 3 decades that they've been able to see the sun. You know, like, clearly in blue sky through all of these dark clouds. And what has it been? Maybe 2-3 months down there of full shutdown. And so it's one of those things where you're trying to find a little bit of lightness in this horrible thing that we're all living through. And as horrible as it is, and like as many people are being affected and are going to be affected, because this is going to affect a lot of us in ways more important and more significant than just money and financial, like people's lives. You know, there is another factor to be considered, and maybe it's a wake-up call. And we've been knowing that a pandemic could really affect us on a global scale. We've known that for a long time. Did any one of us get prepared? Did we spread any information whatsoever? No, clearly not enough. So I'm hoping if anything comes out of this, it's a wake-up call.
In retrospect, I've been YouTube has its own algorithm that works that way, where this happens and then videos get recommended to you. Like I saw a video from 4 years ago of Bill Gates talking about having a pandemic, and
I watched it too.
There you go. People have been talking about it, and
it was so interesting how he said it. He's like, everyone's worried about like the apocalypse or like the world ending because of the environment or crazy theories like this. And he's like, really, that's not what's going to kill us. It's going to be
a virus.
A virus is just going to spread and get out of control. Like the predicted death numbers in the States are terrifying, and it's so sad. This is supposed to be the happy side of the podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I realized when we delved back into this, but I think it's important to talk about because that is what we're living through right now, and
this is the month of March. It's the reality.
And hopefully by the end of the year, knock on wood, we're doing a lot better. By December, I'm hoping that I'm not talking about this and that, but I also hope that we, as a species, not just as a country or as everybody here on this planet, we come out of this having learned something, having look at the benefits that being quarantined has given us. As horrible as it is, the amount, the population being decreased, what that has done to reduce a strain globally, and just fucking learn, learn from that. I don't see how we get out of this without learning something. This is my 75. I think. Sorry if you're not 75, Terry. My 75-year-old acting teacher said this for your lives. He was talking about our generation is going to be a generation-defining event, and what we do moving forward from this event matters. This is like we were saying it mattered when you vote, when all these things were popping
up. Greta Thunberg or whatever.
That have been screaming about the environment. What this is literally a stop. You cannot ignore this. No one can ignore this one. What we do moving forward from here matters. And if everyone, the thing that I think I want, if anyone to take away from listening to this, if anyone listens to this, is it should not go back to normal. It should not be business as usual, because that has not worked. And we can acknowledge that it does not work.
It does not, and it will not work for much longer. If this was the warning and we don't take it as a warning and we don't adjust our lifestyles, what's coming next? And like, how are we going to make it through that?
And and now to bring it back on the light side, this isn't to make you scared. This isn't to worry. This isn't like the thing that you take out of this shouldn't be like, well, I'm going to be washing my hands every day from now on. It's like, it is grave. It is serious. Like, think about, go home after listening to this, just think about the lighter side of this, is think about your place here. The way that people have described us is as a dust, a speck in a long timeline, and we want that timeline to go on for a long time. So in your time that you're here, think about stuff like what footprint you're leaving on this earth. I personally, there's stuff that I hope that I can work on to be better. I have a gas car right now, and I don't like it. Every single time I go to the gas station to fill up, I feel guilt for doing that. I hope one of the investments I want to make is in an electric car. In my future, I know that I will have an electric car, electric or hybrid, something that runs on electricity, something that does not pollute. That's one thing, one change that I want to make in my future. And it's not only about stuff like that, but I know for me, that's something that I will personally try to work towards. Let this time of quarantine be a time of reflection. Let yourself, if you haven't already, take 5-10 minutes to just actually think, actually write something down, just live with yourself. I think that is something that causes stir craze, that you can't be alone. So take the time to actually try it and think and do something that will benefit you later. I think that is the point I want to end on.
Yeah.
Maddy?
No, that was beautiful. And
No. You.
I mean, you know me, I want to dedicate a huge chunk of my life to creating something positive. Like, I want my whole career to be based around it. And, you know, don't just, like, I think, Gio, what you said is so beautifully worded and smart. And, like, don't go into it as a chore. It's going to feel good. You know, like, we're this generation where we can start a movement, and we're all very aware of it, I think. At least most of us, which is the first time ever that that's happened, where all of us have our eyes open to it. So be a part of it, you know? Like, how incredible could it be? It's so exciting that maybe we can do something. I don't know.
Okay. I think that is where we're going to cut it. I think that was a good ending point. Thank you, Maddy, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to anyone who is listening. The podcast is now available on YouTube and Spotify. I finally managed to get that working. And I hope by this time next month, everyone is doing a little bit better. For those of you that are adjusting to new situations, I hope that you can settle, that we all find something to do, and that we get through this, because it will pass and we will be okay. On that note, thank you everybody for watching, and have a good April.
Do something that makes you happy every day in quarantine. You have the time to do it. There's no excuses. Do it. Smile. Be happy.
Thank you very much for listening. Have a good month.